people, give the people what they want. Welcome to another edition of Power to the People. Welcome to the ATL family. Welcome to the 716 family. Welcome to those of you who are watching on all of our streaming platforms. Say beautiful day. Even though here in the Buffalo studio it's a little I'm not gonna complain because it's the temperature is good for Buffalo. We're looking at 41 degrees.
Yeah, we just not getting it all together. Yesterday we had the sun.
Right.
It was chillier. Now we got a little rain, little gray skies, but we got the temperature. So Mother Nature and God, if you can just put it all together.
Atlanta's sitting right now at 73 degrees, about 73 degrees, cloudy skies, some rain. Tomorrow in Atlanta, 66 degrees. But watch this. We're at 41 right now. Sunday in Atlanta, 45 with a low of 27. Monday in Atlanta, 38 with a low of 24. Tuesday in Atlanta, 48 with a low of 24.
Wow. You know, they really aren't used to that kind of change. And I know we get a little chilly, and you know, I love your Sunday series that we are built for this. And
we built for this, baby.
We make it work. We make it do what it do.
we listen, we got to make it. But, you know, just had Mardi Gras, so that's a sign of – I didn't realize Mardi Gras was coming up.
Yeah.
That's a sign of now time to, you know, fish fries starting, Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, that's, you know, so we're in the Lenten season. And so for the Christian church, we're in the Lenten season. So I'm participating in, you know, for our Muslim cousins and brothers and sisters, they're celebrating Ramadan now. So, you know, so we all fasting. And so give all of us Christians and Muslim believers some grace in this first week.
Well, one of these weeks of Lent, I'm calling for social media fast.
Oh, Jesus.
For a week.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and encouraging people to do something positive in that time, and it can be positive for yourself, positive for your family, positive for somebody else. Do something you've been putting off that is going to advance something or someone. Okay. You know, don't just sit there and twiddle your thumbs. That time, that hour, or however long that they spend on. When I say social media, I'm not talking about work where you go like, well, I can't work, I can't check my email. No, that's not social media. You know, we're talking about the platforms and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you. I do spend some time. So it's not. I think from the ground up fast might have been easier for me, and it's time that, you know, I use a lot of social media for research, and I mean that for real. Like the YouTube, something breaks on in my house or something, I'm going to YouTube. Matter of fact, I have a laundry thing. It's complicated, like a dryer that you hang clothes on. Now, those are usually pretty simple. You unfold them, you put it. But I got one that's got all kinds of little bells and whistles.
Of course you do.
You can hang. I can't take it down. I don't know how to take it down. I cannot. It is sitting in the guest room because it has places you can hang your socks from, dry your shoes off. It's got all of this stuff. I can put it up, but I have to go to social media because I don't want to break it to take it down.
That's hilarious.
It's really bad. So I use social media for stuff like that a lot.
Yep.
But for a week, unless it's an emergency that I've got to find out, but a lot of times you can just AI, but it's still going to connect you to social media.
Absolutely.
But for a week coming up, before Christ rises, I'm going to call and encourage people. You know, nobody has to, but I think it would be interesting to see what your week is like from Sunday to Sunday, starting on Monday and ending on that following Sunday.
For Lent, I have given up social media before, and the whole 40 days, and it was interesting, and I will be honest. So if I felt temptation, I just deleted the app from my phone.
Yeah,
but when I tell you, even after resurrection, I was slow back to social media. I think one time I ended up being off actually like 6 months because I was just like, yeah, I made it to 40 days. You realize you don't really need the social media piece. Like,
Yeah.
but I still did YouTube and things like that, but I didn't need Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat at the time. So, but so you do find a new normal rather quickly.
And I think that's what what I'm pushing. Even when we did the from the ground up, for only eating plant-based food, and I'm still largely on it. Not
Right.
totally. I had a chicken finger yesterday, but at the end of the day, it did expose me to doing something different.
Right.
And my body is responding to it in a very positive way. So that's the same thing I hope to get out of that. Couple things before we get to the big breaking news of tariffs, and we're going to talk about that as one of our main topics today. But let me just do some side stuff. In Atlanta, another shooting, and police have drugs, 4 shot in Atlanta. In an apartment building. I'm just pulling up the story here. A lot, when we look at Atlanta, when you look at the shootings here in Buffalo, you look at the shootings in Atlanta, and of course Atlanta, much, much bigger than Buffalo. But at the end of the day, you're just seeing this rise in shootings. We're seeing not a rise that I know of in homicides with drug-related as much as kind of rage shootings or killings.
Right.
So this week in Buffalo, allegedly, a young man stabs his grandmother to death.
Wow.
And this week, allegedly, a Buffalo police officer killed his wife.
Yes.
And so these are not the classic type of murders that we have seen in Buffalo, but in Atlanta, CBS News is reporting 4 injured in shooting during possible robbery at a Midtown Atlanta apartment. And the residents, according to Fox 5 Atlanta, residents say shooting at Midtown Atlanta high-rise was bound to happen. And then you got this other thing where a dentist saw on a ring alert and drove 22 miles.
Wow.
Then opened fire. Wow. This man drove 22 miles and opened fire. So when we talk about the difference in what's happening in Atlanta, what's happening in Buffalo. Let me just read this a little bit. A Metro Atlanta dentist is facing murder charges after Atlanta police say he drove more than 20 miles to a Southwest Atlanta business and shot a man he suspects of breaking in. It was just before 3 p.m. Now think about this. He saw it.
Yep.
He drives 20 miles, which in Atlanta, is not 20 minutes. It says it was just before 3 p.m. on Saturday when Atlanta Police Department responded to reports of a person shot at a business on Martin Luther King Drive. And we all know when you see Martin Luther King Drive, usually what that means.
Yes.
But then let me see if I can get past the paywall. When officers arrived, they were approached by 73-year-old David Mays, who told police he had shot someone inside the building. Officers entered the business and found 37-year-old Montario Sperling lying on the floor with multiple gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene, I believe. Police say that after arriving, Mays noticed damage to the front door, opened the door, and immediately fired his gun 4 or 5 times at a person inside. 5 shell casings were recovered. During a recorded interview, Mays told detectives he recognized Sperling as someone who had previously broken into the building. However, police says Mays acknowledged that Sperling did not make any aggressive movements. That's where he's going to be in trouble.
That's the charge.
Toward him, and that he did not see a weapon. I mean, he's honest.
Yeah.
Because some people would have said, especially if the man is deceased.
Yeah, and laying there.
And laying there, you ain't,
and like you said, it is kind of crazy because, first of all, the mindset is, it's kind of like when we hear these shooters that drive distances.
Yes.
Like you're in the claim of intention is clearly there. That is not that's how you get out of the manslaughter to murder. It's the intention. And so you drove angrily for 22 miles in a major city with the intent that, you know what, this is the last time he's going to break into my building.
He didn't even call the police.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you would have called the police on the way there, I think, again, hey, listen, I'm even if you approach, and then, like you said, that when you come out and say, oh, well, he didn't even charge me. Come on, man.
It says police say Mays did not contact law enforcement between seeing the video and arriving at the property. He called 911 only after the shooting. So, he
went and handled it himself.
He went and handled it himself, and that's not going to,
it was interesting in Atlanta too, and I was in a barbershop, and my barber watches Atlanta news when I'm in there. In the other week, and I don't remember if you just mentioned it, they just had a big trial in Fulton County where a valet got shot and murdered by somebody trying to steal a car. And this was like some big deal because I think it was outside of a fancy hotel, and we had the conversation. It was like, like the valet, like he saw the young man trying to steal this car, and the valet tried to stop him, and the young man unalived him there on the street. And it was like and I was actually watching the news, like, man, this is really a big deal. Like for them, like for us, I'm like, But then we had the conversation, like, when you're in a store and I think you said you've done loss prevention before, they tell you don't chase, don't do this. Like, it's just, but.
Not back in the day. When I did loss prevention, my friend, I'm going to tell you this, and then we're going to get to the real, I was working for this company. I worked Buffalo Special Forces. That's when I was a teenager.
Okay.
Man, we was in Tops. They had me on Tops. It was a Tops over by Elmwood then. Mm-hmm. And my first day doing like plain clothes, dude walk up to the stakes. He said, watch out for me, brother. And he sticks the stakes down his shirt right while I'm standing there.
To watch out for me.
So now I go call the manager. He like, we got to meet him at the door. Got to meet him at the door. I don't know what the laws are now. We get to the door. Man, that brother pushed me and him and ran out. You think I chased him? He's like, get him. I thought to myself, I ain't the dog. You're not finna send me out here on Elmwood and I weigh $130. The loss prevention just lost. Y'all just lost a steak.
Not for that $4 T-bone.
Right. And not for that little minimum wage I was making. That man said, watch out for me, brother. Yeah, God dog. I thought to myself, not on day one. Not day one. You're not going to steal this steak on day one in front of the undercover.
He's like, I got a good brother right here. He got my back.
That man had a steak that night. I promise you that. He either had a steak or he sold a steak. Speaking of the last bit of Atlanta news, let's give a little more. Last bit of Atlanta news, one of the popular, I didn't know that this place was known for wings. Founded in Atlanta, Atlanta's famous wing spot will open its first Colorado location. Founded in Atlanta, the chain has 17 locations across Georgia and Alabama. It's called J.R. Crickett's Wings. And so they're expanding. This is about Buffalo. Talk about the wing. We give y'all, but in Atlanta they love that lemon pepper.
Yes, they do.
They love that lemon pepper in Atlanta,
and I love lemon pepper too. So I guess the question is, because do you like lemon pepper?
No,
not
a fan.
So I prefer my dry lemon pepper. I know there's people that love the wet lemon pepper. It is. Good, but I'd also like, because it's like, it reminds me of like the wet garlic parm. I don't like that either. Mm-hmm. So give me just the dry rub lemon pepper. It's so good.
Well, that's what we had at the Super Bowl party, is the dry.
Yeah.
And that was much better than the other stuff. I can't get through it. In Buffalo news, Investigative Post is posting about landlords profiting from Trump's immigration crackdown. So it's a very interesting article. You can go to investigativepost.org. Basically, they say over the past year, 250 Delaware, home to the regional office of ICE, has become a site of protests and vigils by those enraged by Trump's administration crackdown on immigration. But other agencies involved in the mass arrest and detention, Border Patrol, Customs, and other branches, also have a footprint in the city of Buffalo and surrounding suburbs. Those leases, tracked and reviewed by investigative posts, show local landlords and developers are earning millions annually through leases with immigration-related agencies. Now, what's interesting is that Douglas Jamal, who's a big developer here, is losing money in D.C. because they're closing businesses or closing government offices that he actually owns. And here, and 250 Delaware, I do believe is the Delaware North building.
Yes.
And what's interesting is that the Trump administration just tapped a executive from Delaware North to come and join the Trump administration.
And that's under scrutiny too, because he is, I believe, going to be over national parks.
Yes.
And it's
and they have a contract.
And they have a big contract.
They have I mean, you can't make this up. They have a huge contract with national parks. They take a guy who's working for Delaware North. Right. They put him over parks. And I'm not saying, let me be clear, because I'm trying to get along with everybody these days.
Listen, me too.
Everybody's except the devil. I'm at the end of the day, I don't know, but they so 300 Airborne Parkway in Cheektowaga, they're paying $500,000, 7 annually. 200 Delaware, they're paying $272,000 annually, and at 250 Delaware, the lease is worth $2 million.
I think we got some office space coming up.
Not over here. Not over here. Not over here. Got some other buildings.
Right.
So that's what's happening. Well, let's pay the commercials. When we get back, breaking news, if you haven't heard it, the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land in the United States, has said no to tariffs in the way that they have been issued. What does it mean for the billions of dollars that have already been collected? What does it mean for the people who were promised this money, like the farmers? What does this mean for the big, beautiful bill? We're going to talk about it when we come back.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. Call toll-free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll-free 877-885-7734. Or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
Thank you to Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning, and to Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home in your hour of need. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. We mourn the loss, of course, of Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
Did a lot of press, more press I've done in a long time. I actually answered the phone for the press on that one.
Oh, yeah.
And he was here at True Bethel. He spoke here at True Bethel before. And so there's a picture that hangs in my hallway of Jesse Jackson and I and this little baby. And I never knew who the baby was. And when we took the picture off the wall to send it to the press by their request, I found out that is Aaron Tucker. His parents are pastors here in Buffalo. And Aaron is looking up at Jesse as Jesse and I hold his legs, and he's actually in Jesse's arms. Now he is a minister in training, which is just a wonderful story that once I learned everything about that picture. So our nation, matter of fact, I did a chapel yesterday for an assisted living center out in Lancaster that wanted to remember Jesse Jackson.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm in there, they're all our seasoned citizens, and there's black and there's white in the chapel and all together. And so I thought that was very nice. And it was out, I think it's called Symphony Manor out on Broadway. And so big ups to Symphony Manor for bringing residents together. And one of the residents there by the name of Jackie was one of the persons who asked for me to be their speaker. So thank you for that.
And I was going to just, the country faces a huge loss, and as all of our, civil rights leaders from the mid-century are up in age or transitioning, it's that constant reminder that, as these generations transition, that, we all have to step up and do our part so we don't return back to pre-mid-century, early 20th century.
Absolutely.
And void all of the things that they fought for. He gets known for his line that we are somebody. And I think that, and I've been jokingly saying it all week, but when I kind of woke up yesterday morning, I think people have to realize like that tagline means so much more than just a joke. Like, you have to remember that you are somebody and fight for that right that is in the Constitution.
Absolutely. All right, here it is. Supreme Court strikes down Trump's sweeping global tariffs. Let's bring it down to earth. Talk about what the tariffs, basically what Trump was using to go against entire countries.
Yes.
Now, it does not mean that there can't be tariffs, but it's supposed to go through Congress first.
Yes, it is.
And usually it is against an industry, like the car industry, the steel industry. It is not supposed to be used, and now the Supreme Court has said it. He's going to make remarks soon, and if we get it, we'll bring it live. It is not supposed to be used to basically bully a country.
Right.
He says to Canada, I'm going to put 100% tariffs if you don't do what I want, if you start trading with China. And the Supreme Court has handed down a ruling fresh off the press, striking down the tariffs mainly about how he has been doing it. Not saying, again, that it cannot be done. What it is saying is that you can't just wake up in the morning as the president and put tariffs on. And what some commentators are saying, it wasn't the countries that were paying the price.
No.
It was Americans.
Absolutely.
Because even when the president said, for Christmas, just buy one less doll baby, you were acknowledging that prices would go up on us.
Yes.
As you're battling these other countries. And let me say this, because I always try to be fair in this type of thing. I'm not, we said it before, I'm not against some of the stuff that this president is trying to do.
Mm-mm.
I'm not against the president closing borders to illegals. I'm not against him ridding the country of illegals who have committed crimes and who put our neighborhoods in danger. Not against it. But I have been totally 10 toes down against anybody being able to just wake up and threaten a country. He just had this board of peace in which 50 nations got together, and it was sanctioned in the beginning by the United Nations. I don't know if they still gung-ho about it, but at the end of the day, you cannot be the bully of the world by using tariffs.
No, and the fact that you're making this, and you're saying it's basically reciprocal on the countries that you don't like, but again, Americans feel the brunt. Our $5 item then turns into 8 and 9 because those countries are like, we ain't paying it, and like you guys pay it, and as we transition, like you said, it's now the okay, well, what happens to all this money that was generated, and that is the crux, and I don't believe the Supreme Court addressed that piece in their decision either. It is literally just saying in a 6-3 vote. And I think people sometimes also don't realize what the Supreme Court is really ruling on. The Supreme Court really only rules on if something is constitutional or not, and it's protecting the Constitution of the United States. So constitutionally, by the executive powers, they are saying you don't have the right as the executive office to just by, like you said, by a whimsical dream and a pen in one morning to do this. And I think that's where I applaud the Supreme Court for actually taking a stand against this administration.
The writer of the decision was Chief Justice John Roberts. Now, why that's important is because he's a conservative. I'm not going to, on the Supreme Court, they're not supposed to be pro any side.
Right.
But let's be honest. Mm-hmm. He's more on the side of Trump than he was on the side of Barack Obama.
Right.
He is the chief judge, but he wrote, so when the Supreme Court has a ruling, one judge will take on the writing of the decision, two actually. There will be a decision, a writing on the prevailing side, the winners, and one on the dissension. So now he wrote it, so Trump is not happy, and he's about to give his State of the Union.
Yes.
And the judges usually, not all of them show, and it's their option of whether they show, usually are on the front row.
Yes, they are.
Of the State of the Union. Can you imagine how this State of the Union, but Trump, in his Trump way, basically says, oh, that's all right. I got other ways to go about it. And so there's a question whether this is going to hurt in the midterms or whether it's going to help in the midterms, because now the Republicans don't have to argue about the tariffs with their constituents.
Well, and CNN had Rahm Emanuel on, the former Obama administration, I think chief of staff and the former mayor of Chicago, and he was on, and he was spewing off, Trump's numbers are especially on the economy, are the lowest in both of his presidencies. The GDP came out and they're low. So the economy is going to be a big conversation leading into midterms, but where I do think, and he can go about it other ways, but I think no one is really saying is, if you did it the right way, at least there was a public process and Congress did it the right way, and there was public dialogue.
Yes.
and actual conversation, not you just saying, oh, there it is, I hate you, here's this, because again, we feel the brunt of it. And it was interesting because one of the news stations were saying how Trump found out. So apparently he's at a breakfast with the governors, and all of a sudden they just said his whole attitude changed in the middle of this breakfast.
I'm sure.
And literally in the breakfast, he started using all kind of expletives, and like literally towards the judges and in the court. So
he's mad.
Yeah. So this like you said, leading into the State of the Union, lowest numbers, and commentator Jamel Hill, I love her. She said, and then you see former President Barack Obama at all these things, and he's getting loved and everything else. So he is just spiraling
Absolutely.
over the last week.
So I want to look at what this means for everyday citizens. So, it says many of Trump's recent tariffs on a wide range of imported goods are now halted or rolled back, which is expected to slow or partially reverse some price increases in things like electronics, toys, clothing, and other everyday items. And I'll just say this in all transparency. We had to order our heating and air conditioning units early,
right,
to get around the tariffs. Mm-hmm. So we had to spend tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to be honest, because of these tariffs that were rolling in. One analysis estimated those tariffs would have cost the average U.S. household about $1,300 in 2026. With the ruling limiting them, the projected hit drops to about $800. Now, the question is, the big question, because the court did not decide on this, and they said in the ruling that this is going to be a mess.
Yes.
In untangling it, because you took money illegally. So how do you give it back? What do you do? How do you reverse what you took that you did not have the authority to take? So let me put it to you this way, folks. It's like a person who, you're a manager of a store, and you can take what's called a cash out, but you got to do it a certain way. So if you got to buy some paper towels, take a cash out of the register, you have to, it's got to be authorized. What he was doing, he just decided, I'm just going to cash out when I feel like cashing out. So he's taking money out of the register, and some of it is spent. Some of it has already been spent.
Yes.
And now, how do you put the money back in the register, and where do you get it from?
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers. Like you said, analysis are estimating that the tariffs were up around 170 to 175 billion.
But he just promised the Board of Peace $10 billion. Where are you getting the $10 billion for the Board of Peace?
And I know how some people love their checks. If you still waiting, because remember, we all supposed to get these tariff refunds.
Nope.
Congress has to be the one to approve those.
It's not going to happen because it won't be. So anybody who's waiting on that $2,000, I would suggest you do something else. Because, this is from Politico. Because the court found these tariffs illegal under the emergency law Trump used, importers that paid them may be entitled to large refunds. Now, notice who's going to be entitled. Mm-hmm. The importers.
Yes.
Still ain't going to affect us.
No.
Because the importer just passed the costs along.
Absolutely.
It says, and some state leaders are already calling for part of that money to be passed through to consumers. For example, via rebate checks or tax relief. The refund process will likely be slow and messy, and there is no guarantee that businesses will share, all that money with shoppers. So any direct check in the mail effect is uncertain and may vary by state and by company. So that means I don't think this helps in the midterms. Because I think it's going to be so messy. And I think it's going to be so combative. Now, he can still get tariffs, but it has to be through Congress. And Congress is not about to wear the badge of Trump's vendettas against countries wholesale, because it's going to affect their districts.
I was going to say not when the House is up, not when this is probably again the biggest swing in midterms that he's been a part of, and they would be almost insane to now go do this. And I think again you leave this battle to. The more people you put into this battle, like you said, the more messier it's going to get. And in the fact that the court left this unresolved, and now you're going to have the fights between the executive, the lower court judges, and Congress. Oh yeah, this ain't like you said. This money is going to sit in the Treasury for who knows how long.
Well, I'm reading the other countries' response. So let me go right to Canada.
Yeah.
Canada says the decision validates its view that Trump's blanket tariffs were, quote, unwarranted, end of quote, and Canadian officials framed the ruling as a win for rules-based trade between the two countries. Canada over there shouting.
Mm-hmm.
Canada over there having a Pentecostal, tambourine. They got tambourines. We don't have to pay the tariffs. Oh, we don't have to pay the tariffs. We can get our beans. Yeah. I had a whole song made up in my head before I got here. I had 2 words that rhymed, and it collapsed under the pressure. The European Union says it, quote, takes note of the ruling, end quote, and is analyzing it and is pushing the White House for clarity. You better push the Supreme Court for clarity. But Supreme Court said we out of it.
We out.
We're not making a decision.
Yep.
That's up to Congress to decide what y'all going to do with the billions of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that freezes that money now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Now, all that money going to sit in the Treasury until somebody makes a decision. And again, if you've seen anything happening in D.C. anytime soon, it's either going to sit there the rest of this year until after the midterms, or just like Trump's plane is going to sit there until after he's elected.
Well, in Switzerland, you know they happy. Because he keep throwing off on them. He threw off on them in his speech the other day.
Yep.
And I was about to say the Bible says. CNBC, which is not the Bible. I'm so used to preaching a sermon.
Especially after a song, I guess.
Oh, right. Trade officials and industry groups in countries like Switzerland and other export-oriented economies publicly welcomes the decision, saying the high U.S. tariffs hurt their manufacturers, but warning that benefits will be slow and depend on how tariffs are actually unwound. So don't expect that tomorrow the Barbies are going down.
Mm-mm.
Don't expect that anything is going to go down right away. It's going to take time. But what is up is the market. So if you got a 401k, if you got an invested retirement account, you ought to be happy right now. Bless the Lord, oh my
Hallelujah.
soul. Hey, Shuki, somebody says make it make sense. I got a lot of stuff coming in. But at the end of the day, they have overturned it. And it was not just the what they would say the liberals on the court.
No.
But the some of the ones who were put in by Republican the majority by Republican presidents.
Yeah, and I'll name them. It was, of course, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, Neil Gorsuch. I forget how to pronounce his last name, and Amy Coney Barrett. So those 3 right there were the other ones. Is that from his first administration? Well,
and I commend them for just following the law.
It's the Constitution.
It's the Constitution of the United States, the law of the land. At the end of the day, he did his big one. The same thing he did the other day when Barack says basically, something about UFOs.
Great segue.
And he gets on the plane and says, "Oh, he let go of classified information. He's in trouble now." What?
But then after he did that big speech. And big pontification on his plane, then going to say, I'm ordering them to release all the information they have.
Exactly.
So which one is it? Which one
exactly.
is it?
It changes. Trump directs U.S. government to prepare release of files on aliens and UFOs. Now,
where do you begin?
We got education problems.
Yep.
We have crime problems. We have an economy that is switching, and we got to deal with AI and making sure people still have work.
Yep.
And what are we concentrating on? A former president is asked a question about a UFO. Mm-hmm. You then say that this former president is in big trouble. It's smoke and mirrors.
And the bad thing about it, because have you seen the clip from
who?
From Obama's interview?
Yeah.
And literally, honestly, I think he took a light moment because he was just like, yeah, he was like, and they're not at Area 51, they're not in some basement, and I think he even said, yeah, because I've never even seen it myself. I'm just, like it was such a light and jovial moment.
Exactly. So you take this moment, and it's about taking the focus off the real deal. Let me say Obama is in trouble.
Yep.
So that you all won't concentrate anymore that I had a picture of them at the end of on my social media.
Or more importantly, again, we have another distraction off the fact that what did they say? What's the line? That Trump is mentioned in the Epstein files more than God is mentioned in the Bible.
It's just another. It's just another. Here, let me see how long this clip is. I think it's only a few seconds.
Barack Obama said aliens exist. Well, kind of. In an interview with Brian Tyler Cohen, the former president was asked whether aliens are real.
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
That's all the man said.
That's all. That's it.
He said, I haven't seen it. How is that classified that the man didn't see it? And now you say he released classified documents.
Yeah.
And all Barack said is not in Area 51. He's not even a sitting president. Now, what people don't know is that as long as a former president is alive, they still get a security briefing. And so they still get
unless the current president stops it.
Right. So they still get a security briefing of some level. But he's saying, I haven't seen it. Basically saying, no, unless they hid it from the President of the United States.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It honestly, and I'll ask you, do you think there's aliens or other beings out? Because the other fearful thing is when they started throwing around this term aliens, because they love to talk about immigrants and foreigners as aliens. So I figured, I'm like, oh, here we go with the spin. Do you think there's other beings outside of this planet?
No, I do believe that there is some type of life outside of this planet. But as far as like with a brain and hands or antenna, I think that science is so far advanced right now that there would be some sign of it. And so I don't. And I'm willing to be proved wrong.
Right.
But these spottings of things in the sky, and then we find out later that it was something that some military or some kid made up and threw up. And if they do, I'll be like, yeah, I was wrong. But it hasn't been proven to me.
Right.
And when a sitting president that I trust says I've never been briefed on aliens.
Right.
I don't.
So like you said, I like the way you put it, that there's other life. I do believe there's other creatures. And it's really because of my belief in God. There is no way a God who is infinite, all-knowing, and can just think and create and things be, that he just said, oh, you know what, the earth, this is all I got. And so I do believe, whether it's in this universe or somewhere else, there is another situation going on.
Absolutely. And by the sitting president ordering that all the files be released, it lets me know there's nothing in the files. Because think about it. If there's something in the files that shows we got stuff under Area 51, then he's not going to release it. No. Some things you just got to sit down and think common sense.
No, and if he does release it, it's going to be more redacted than the Epstein file.
Sharon Colbert says, more distraction, shaking my head. Veronica Bell says, Trump takes away too many medications. People are just cracking up. At the end of the day, I don't believe it. I think it's yet another distraction to get us to not pay attention. Now, who is paying attention to the Epstein files is other countries, because the former royal.
Oh, yeah.
They went to his house and picked him up.
Oh, yeah.
And on the way out of jail, that mug tried to hide and lay down in that seat.
Couldn't.
And buck them eyes up and look like a deer running across Jefferson running across Jefferson by Mike's Lounge on a Friday night.
Listen, I was on the phone with somebody, and the image came up, and they was like, "What is that?" Because it looked crazy. He looked crazy, and the fact that even the monarchy is over there, like, yeah, let justice system do it again. I said,
his brother is like, well, it's under investigation, basically. Like, don't bring that over here.
Oh, boy.
Listen, the king is like, don't bring that over here. Wow. I didn't have my stuff with Diana. I didn't have my stuff with Camilla. I didn't have my stuff with my son. I need y'all to leave us alone. Because right now,
over there.
The Royals is looking royal ghetto. The Royals are looking, they got more stuff. Hold on. The Royals got more junk going on than the brothers in the hood. They got, if you look at the Royals, they got so much stuff going on.
They do.
You got bro out here hanging with Epstein.
You got the one that don't want nothing to do with them
married the black woman. The Royal that's married the sister had kids and like, I'm out of here. I don't want your security. I don't want your castle. Now, I'm going to say this. If I was a royal, forget that. I'm staying.
Oh, you going to give me a
castle. You going to give me all these.
I'm keeping the castle.
I'm keeping the castle. I don't care who it is. Listen, babe, we going to play games. We going to play in the sandbox. They got so much stuff going on with the Royals right now, it ain't funny. They came and arrested former Prince Andrew. Boy, but if I say the Bible, say it one more time. The BBC, that's who I'm going to go, says Andrew arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Now, we should be fair in this, that it's not necessarily about anything SX.
Yeah.
It is about him when he was an envoy.
Right.
And that he could have given, allegedly he did something. Because they've gone from investigation to arrest.
Right.
You don't arrest without something.
Mm-hmm.
Police searched former home. They went and searched his house.
Yep.
After his arrest over Epstein ties. So over there, they ain't playing.
No, they not.
They went and got a former royal, but you can call him former royal all you want. He was still a prince.
It's like these families here. You still in the family.
You're still in the family.
You're still in the family.
So at the end of the day, they're not playing. What are we doing on this side? Distraction. Because you're not going to tell me that Prince Andrew going down, that all these executives from businesses going down, and he going to distract this for the next 3 years.
Now, what's interesting, and
he getting ready to make remarks. I'm going to see if we can get him, but it'll be at 2:50.
Yeah, and I said,
one.
And I said this. I've been saying this all week. The biggest thing with that Attorney General Pam Bondi's hearing that I think got swallowed up in everything else, and she made this remark when they asked about who else would be prosecuted, and this to me was so glaring. She said, if I prosecuted everybody in the Epstein files, I will bring down the system. I think that headline should have went everywhere but again, we get distracted because now you don't know who she talking about. But again, the promise is we're going to release them unredacted. We're going to redact the victims now, which should have been done in the first place. But now we're going to unredact who allegedly is in these files. But I think, like you said, I think everyone's shaking in their boots a little bit, and like you said, they're gonna drag this out.
Because the ones who are not Trump speaks after Supreme Court. No. They said live, but I don't see it live on. Oh, he's not at the podium yet.
No.
He's not at the podium. They say he's going to speak at 12:45. Of course, it is past 12:45.
It'll be 1 o'clock. Really.
So he in the back, they polishing up the speech. I love when he comes off script.
Oh, I love it too.
I love when he looks up and starts just rambling about something that has nothing to do with anything, but I'm staying glued to my TV to be able to see it. Matter of fact, I'm going to watch from the Associated Press because or C-SPAN, because when you watch it on CNN and all that, they talk too much.
And
sometimes.
I was going to say they cut in and everybody. No, I'm trying to hear what
Exactly.
this man go crazy.
If CNN ever hears this, I'm okay when they do the little ticker thing on the side,
yes.
and they're making comments, but cutting into important news to give your take, whether it's CNN or whether it's Fox or whoever it is, MSNBC, I'll name them all. It distracts the people from hearing. And I get it. You want to do commentation, do it after it when it's something this big.
Absolutely.
This is affecting our economy. This is affecting our retirement. This is affecting everyday citizens and what we eat and what we do in these United States. So this is breaking news, folks. This is big. But when you see people spending $10 billion, matter of fact, speaking of, they stopped the work on the stadium because of some graffiti that was written. Like they put a stop. Some of this stuff that's happening around me, I just can't believe it's happening in my lifetime.
Well, let's not even. So, I mean, the graffiti, and I get it. They said it was in a highly secured area, and it was really profane. Whatever you did there is fine. $100,000.
Tell the people what that means.
$100,000 reward for information on the capture of who did it.
Who's putting this $100,000?
Listen,
is that the Pagulas?
I have no idea. I have no idea where this $100,000. But let Raheem get slain over here on East Ferry or down in Fulton County, and they'd be like, we got to scramble to get $7,500 and a GoFundMe for the funeral. $100,000 for some graffiti and some paint. It is wild.
When I read it, I thought I read it wrong. Who is financing the $100,000 reward for graffiti at Bills Stadium? $100,000 being offered. I want to see who's offering it, because I know the government better not be offering it. Let's put it that way. And I don't even know if let's see, who is financing. It's not coming up. Gilbane Turner. It's now
not the general
allegedly. This is from Sports Yahoo. The $100,000 reward is being financed by Gilbane Turner, the construction management venture building the new Highmark Stadium, not directly by the Buffalo Bills. Gilbane Turner. Okay. Hey, you know what? It's their money.
It sure
but
is.
that tells you how much money they're making. But it's their money.
$100,000.
$100,000.
And let's be honest. If they catch the person or people who were involved, you ain't getting that money from them to replace everything in the suites that got dead.
Because it's somebody with no money, probably. At the end of the day, they better be glad I don't know. Let me tell you this. I'm just going to be honest. They better be glad I don't know. Because they talk about snitches get stitches.
Hey.
Give me a stitch. Stitch. Don't call here talking about Pastor. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm making a public announcement. Do not call True Bethel talking about, Pastor, I know I got confidentiality with you. I did the graffiti. Sir.
I put something on your books on the other side.
My grandson said, he told somebody, just say it was me. We can split this $100,000 right quick.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Put something on your books on the other side.
Like when I see these prices, $100,000 to catch somebody who wrote graffiti in the stadium. Okay, you know what? And like I said, it's their money. Do what you want. But we got whole. I ain't gonna get on my soapbox about that. You know the $100,000. Well, no, because they making buku money.
Oh yeah. I mean, this stadium alone is almost over $2 billion. So, and like you said, that's not all the work they're doing nationally and internationally.
And I think it's because it was in those suites.
Oh, absolutely.
It was in those. It wasn't in.
Oh no.
Wasn't in the nosebleed section.
Mm-mm.
It was in the luxury suites.
Mm-hmm.
So their problem is, how did they get into these secured luxury suites?
Yep.
Can that happen again? And I get it, like you said, about the stopping of the work. We got to investigate it. We got to figure it out. But somebody ought to be shaking, because you still got paint on your nails.
Yep.
And you better not come over here with no paint on your nails. You better not come anywhere near me.
If you painted your house, do not come by.
Well, and here it is. Veronica Bell says something that I agree. She says no cameras on this work site. I mean, if you got $100,000 for a reward, you ain't have cameras up?
Apparently not. I mean, and that is the crazy part. I mean, because depending again, they said it, but they did. But I guess the interesting thing is the word they use. It's in a secured location.
Yes.
So what was so secured? Because literally,
they got in the door.
It wasn't that secure.
They got in the door. They probably got codes on the door, and the code is the code that came with the lock 000.
The number of Bills championships.
I don't know if I check if I trust Bills security. If y'all couldn't secure, y'all could have put Ring cameras up. Y'all could have went to Home Depot. You could have went to Best Buy. They got a $49. Oh, they white balancing. They getting ready. You can get a $49 Ring camera on a battery.
Oh boy.
They found and we're praying for Nancy. What's her name? Guthrie. Is it?
Nancy Guthrie, Savannah, and the Guthrie family.
We're praying for them. No jokes there. But if they could go back and find data on a camera that didn't even have a subscription.
Yep.
Come on now, Bills.
Yeah.
And let's close with that. What do you think about that?
About the Guthrie
kidnapping?
I feel for it. I feel. You know, I remember earlier on they thought it was somebody in the family, and I'm glad the family got cleared. We're living in a sad time, and I don't know if the person knew whose house it was. But, you know, even hearing FBI experts and kidnapping experts, they said you can tell this wasn't planned because a lot of the things he did outside, he didn't scout it out. He didn't have the tools, and he was looking.
He obviously had scouted out because there was a Ring camera there that you tried to cover up with a piece of.
Right. So I don't, it's sad. My heart goes out to them. And even to see Savannah, who's an attorney herself, who's normally so put together on the Today Show and all of the other coverage and interviews. Like you talking about someone who's interviewed foreign leaders and presidents, and to see her have to post videos, like it's sad.
Yeah,
man. It breaks my heart.
So we're praying for them at this time. Listen, we got to get ready to go. I want to thank Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning. Also, they got a new system over there. If you haven't tried them, you can leave your cell phone number, and it will send you an alert when your clothes are ready.
Yep.
Over at Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. I got a funeral tomorrow. I got to work. I got a funeral Wednesday. I got to work.
On Wednesday?
I got my day off.
Boy.
My boss called me and said, could you do a funeral? I said, yeah, 6, 7.
Yeah. I know it's something you love because it's on your day off.
You know I do not work on my day off. But I got to take care of families because we're taking care of families in this present age. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, in your hour of need. Until next week, power to the people.